Hey YouTube, today I'm outside the bookstore because in this episode we're going to be looking at a magazine for adult fans called Blocks magazine. Hey guys, and welcome to Brick Talk TV. Terry here, and today we're going to be looking at Blocks magazine. Blocks magazine is a monthly magazine that is aimed at Lego enthusiasts. I stumbled across this magazine by accident in the autumn or the fall of 2019, and I haven't looked back since then. I actually subscribe digitally to the magazine via an app called Pocket Mags. Links to the app is in the description below. Costing £5.99 every month, I get the magazine pushed to my device at the beginning of each month. You can subscribe in other ways and even get a physical magazine if you're a traditionalist, and I believe the cost of that is around £8 for a printed version. For this fee, every month, I receive over 100 pages of LEGO news, reviews and tips. Usually the magazine reviews the latest sets and looks back at sets from years gone by. They answer questions from other fans, they also update us on industry news and rumours, and look at how LEGO is being used around the world. It also guides you through various build techniques and ways that you can modify existing models. Notably, recently they modified the Ultimate Collector Series Imperial Star Destroyer and to include internal rooms, and it's been a particular highlight for me. So let's jump over now and have a quick flick through a recent edition, and I'll walk you through some of those pages. So let's flip over to the iPad. The app I use is called Pocket Mags, and if you click on the app now you'll see that I've got the latest issues along the top. So I've got a few there because I've been reading it since autumn last year. And then you can see the little orange cloud icon there that just depicts I've downloaded this particular magazine to my device. So if you've got multiple devices, like I use my iPhone as well as my iPad to consume it, it'll remember that you downloaded it as well and remind you where you are. It's quite handy to do that, especially if you're on a commute to work. You can flip it open on your iPhone and you can have a read on the way to work, which kills some time on the commute. So if we look at the May edition, you can see here that this is going to be packed for the Pirates of Barracuda Bay, because the set was launched around that month before. So they're looking at that predominantly in this edition. You've also got some competitions around Boba Fett's helmet that you can win. They're going to cover Super Mario, which you can see up in the top right. They're also looking at the Series 20 minifigures and giving their verdict on it, and they're also touching on Marvel superheroes as well, which is quite good. So as you go in, you've got some adverts and a welcome message from the editor, and then you've got a table of contents. So there's regular editions that go on in here. So you've got LEGO Talks, which is looking at some of the comments that people write in about particular articles from previous editions. They usually review a particular set and look at how it's evolved over time. So this time they're looking at A-Wing and how that's looking from the original design through to today. Then they have Q&A, so people write in about questions in general and they'll answer those or give you some advice. Then they're going to cover the cover story for Super Mario. So what can you expect in that set? What are the top 10 things to look out for on that? Then they're looking at the Boba Fett helmet and actually the designer that designed it. What design constraints did they come up against? How did they arrive at the final design? They're interviewing them. Then you've got a top 10. So this month they change it every month, but this time they're looking at CFOLs, so celebrity fans of Lego. So who are the top 10 celebrity fans of Lego at the moment? And if you wanted to know about CFOLs or any other terms, do check my A to Z of adult fans of Lego out, and I'll stick a card up here for you to look at that. Then they're looking at some ideas showcasing, they're looking at some mocks. So if a mock that you've created yourself actually gets some momentum on social media or comes to their attention, they may interview you or do a piece on it as well and cover you on that. That's quite exciting. And then they do a rebuild challenge as well every month. Then some other features featuring, as you can guess, the Barracuda Bay. They're going to look at some nostalgic pieces. So they often go back to older themes from their childhood, give their views on that. They give some reviews in detail. And then they look at the mod squad, which is currently looking at the Star Destroyer and how you can build some internal rooms into that, because I think it's lacking at the moment in terms of internal detail. So here you can see you've got some comments from previous articles, some sound bites. They've got some social media in their Facebook page. This is the A-Wing article, so it's just going through the different designs along the bottom there of how the A-Wing has evolved over time. Then this article is looking at how Lego has responded to the coronavirus pandemic. So the magazine doesn't just concentrate on the toy itself, but it also looks at how Lego is making an impact socially or internally with its employees. So this one is looking obviously at coronavirus and the COVID-19 pandemic that's going on, looking at how they've adapted their internal organisational processes, working from home, that kind of thing, and also what they're doing for the community, giving back and helping people with that. And also throughout the magazine, what you also notice is that along the top they'll give you some rumours that are going on, so things they might have heard about from the industry, sets that are being released, themes or business negotiations that are going on with Lego. So it's always quite good to get some insight into what's happening there. And then also down the side here in these yellow boxes, you'll get some sound bites and news that's happened that might have passed you by in the general flow of news related to Lego. So they'll put out some interesting news from around the world on that as well, which is also interesting. That features on several pages throughout the magazine. Then this one, as I said, is looking at Super Mario and the top 10 things you can expect from the set. So this is looking at a set that's been announced, but people don't really know too much about it. So they can give you some sneak previews of what you can expect to find in the set, how it's going to work, that kind of thing. So this one, for instance, is for Mario, is looking at answering the question, is there going to be an app, is there going to be expansion packs, that kind of thing for it. And this is the interview with the designer that designed the Boba Fett helmet and some of the decisions they made around there. And then on the right side here, you've got how Lego is expanding into China. So they've opened up a new shop there, and they've got some facts around the Chinese expansion. Then they're looking at the Fast and Furious and Lego and the casts that Technic have released around that as well, so you get some insights into here. This is the top 10 celebrities, so counting down the top 10 there, which has been quite current at the moment with the pandemic, because lots of celebrities seem to be building with Lego. Then they're doing an interview with a YouTuber who actually pushes Lego to its limits, so they're asking how they founded the YouTube channel, what kind of things they get up to on that, which is quite interesting. Then they always do a spotlight on a Lego user group. So this one is looking at the Los Angeles user group, and they interview the people that are part of the group and get insight into what they get up to, how often they meet, that kind of thing. Again, if you're not sure what a Lego user group is, check out the adult fan of A to Z that I did in a previous video. I'll stick a card up here for you for that. They're rebooting some fantasy stuff here, so looking back at a previous theme. Then this article here is looking at how Lego are now focusing on 18+ market. So how they might be deprecating the creative expert range and actually now going for an 18+, changing their branding and marketing around that. So the boxes that they use to attract those adult fans, going in this black box, and also nicely with the Barracuda Bay, they went nostalgic and used a similar design to the original Barracuda ship. Then what people are doing in lockdown with the Lego, so this is actually looking at one of the writers here and how they're getting to grips with building some sets they didn't have time for doing before, or organising their inventory. Then you've got the main article, which is looking at the Barracuda Bay. You're looking at how this idea was evolved, so once the idea was submitted and approved, how the design team actually then evolved it to be the set that you buy now. So it's quite an interesting read on that. Then you've just got the review of it in general and the features you can look out for. Then we've got a couple of reviews on some smaller sets that have been released around Marvel. Then they're looking at the minifigure series 20, so they're reviewing each of the individual minifigures, giving their verdict on it, the best elements, worst elements, what you can do with the figure. Then they've done an article on the Fiat 500, which actually I think was supposed to be the key article for this edition. But they decided to go with the Pirate one instead, because that was announced just after they said that they were going to cover Fiat 500. But they've still included the article, so they're reviewing it here, and you can see some of the detail of the car. Then you've got the Hall of Fame, so they've reviewed their top 20 all-time best sets to get based on the rating that they've given it. I was interested to see which of these I've actually got as well. I've got quite a few of these, but probably the only one I haven't got that I really want to get still is the Jurassic Park one. The T-Rex, so I'll be getting that at some point soon before they retire that off. Got some adverts. Then they've got a review with an artist who used Lego to do some sculpture work, which is how to use Lego in different ways, which is quite an interesting article if you're that way inclined. More adverts. And then this is the Mod Squad, so this is the one I mentioned earlier where they're taking an existing set and then looking at how they can modify it to make it better. So this one is looking at the Star Destroyer. I don't have this one, but I've got the Millennium Falcon and the Super Star Destroyer, and I like that because it had internal room details, and I'm not sure, I don't think the Star Destroyer does. So the mod squad have got hold of it and decided to put some rooms in, so you can open it up and actually see some rooms inside, which is quite cool. So this is a 4-part series. This is the last part, so it's been going every month for the last 4 months. So it's worth picking up the previous 4 months worth if you wanted to get insight into how step by step how to build that and the rooms you can expect. Then they're looking at some Lego birds that they've created. Then we're looking at some castle reviews and some up and coming ideas that have been approved recently. This one is looking at this mock around the Norse mythology, and they've had an interview with the designer there on how they designed that. Then a couple of pictures of some highlighted mocks that are going on in social media. And then they do a rewind series where they look back nostalgically at some sets that some of the writers had when they were children. This is Ice Planet 2002, and so they give a verdict on these. And they look back at some of the other smaller sets as a part of this series as well, and give their views on that. Then they've done an article on a certified Lego professional and some of the larger models that are being built by these people. And then this section at the back is quite good because it gives you some ideas of Lego events. So obviously at the moment with the pandemic, a lot of them are cancelled or postponed, but once life gets back to normal, fingers crossed, this is quite good to see what events are going on nearby you or some that you might want to plan to go and visit. And you can keep tabs on new events that are going on all the time. And this is a global list, so you've got UK, you've got America, Europe, everywhere. So no matter where you're from, it's interesting to take a look at that. And if you actually do your own events, you can email them to get your event added to this list as well. Then at the end they do a Brictionary, which is a bit like the adult fan of Lego A to Z. Again, card is up here, just takes you through the terms commonly used by people. And then they just give you a highlight of what's happening next month. Just to give you an idea of what you can expect. So next month they're looking at Speed Champions, which is the current edition which I'm looking at. And that's it. So that's just a whirlwind tour really of giving you an overview of what you can expect inside the magazine. So I definitely recommend this magazine for any adult fans of Lego out there. I'd advise you get the monthly subscription and get your dose of additional Lego information, and it keeps you abreast of all the things that are going on around Lego. So I hope this quick review and pointing out this magazine was helpful. If it was, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button as well so you can get alerted for any future reviews we do. If anyone else has any other magazine suggestions, please also stick them in the comments below. I'd be great to hear of some other resources that I can possibly subscribe to. And until next time, stay safe and I'll see you then.